Yeah, you can move them. You can move 'em.
Mute your iPad, sir. You. Oh, there you go.
Is Instagram working?
No, it is not.
Yeah,
I even have a little red. Oh, wait, hold on. I had a little red thing. It went away.
Why is Instagram always so difficult?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. You actually look fine still, Greg.
Yeah.
You want to keep moving that one back so it's not so...
I'm going to get a couple more of those.
It looks so white. Hi, Margie.
On the podcast that I did last week, I set one up like right next to me and one kind of in front of me. And it looked cool. And I'm like, I think I'm just trying to light too much with too few lights.
What's up, Patriotic Penguin? I'm going to call Instagram. I just don't think it's happening today.
Oh, well.
Well, we're going to say Instagram is not happening today. Just not happening. So, sorry, Instagram. That's a bummer. We're just going to be live on the YouTubes and the Facebooks. Oh, look, I'm not a ghost anymore. Thank you, Michael. I'm not a ghost with a beard any longer.
How much issues there?
No. These are my hey dudes. I actually didn't mean to wear this today. I wear them around the house because Rigby drinks water and slops water, drips it everywhere. So I always wear shoes in the house. I just walked out of the house with these on this morning.
So what's worse, Crocs or Hey Dudes?
Worse?
Crocs.
What do you mean? Like worse? How? I much prefer the Hey Dudes.
That's intense.
That's for everybody. That's a little ASMR for the day.
It's like a
What flavor you got there?
Last week's episode, if you haven't tuned in.
Razzleberry.
Ooh.
We got razzled last week.
We're running on 5 hours of sleep. Let's go.
Hey, Mr. Bed early.
Actually, nope. Less than that. We're probably at like 4.5. Maybe 4. I don't know. Something like that. Let's go. Let's start this podcast.
You guys ready?
Ready.
Welcome to Life, Liberty, and Equip Podcast. I'm Greg Davis, founder of NeoMag, and a firm believer that life is worth living boldly, liberty should be used for good, and we all have a calling to be equipped to pursue it. Every week we explore what it means to live with intention and carry the tools and mindset that prepare us for whatever comes. We'll dive into the topics around the freedoms we cherish, the gear we trust, and the skills that equip us. It's more than a podcast, it's a mission. Life for liberty and equipped to pursue it. We're coming to you live on NeoMag YouTube and Facebook. Instagram's not too happy with us today. And we'll be pulling your live comments right into the conversation. If you're listening to the recorded podcast, you can go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we'd love to have you join us in real time. Don't forget to join the NeoMag Insiders Club. It's free to join and gives you access to exclusive updates, special discounts, and behind-the-scenes content and more. Just head over to neomag.com and sign up through the pop-up on our site. While you're here, please subscribe to the channel, follow us on social, and leave a review for the podcast. It really helps more people discover what we're doing and keeps the community growing. Now, I'm sure you guys are aware of the government shutdown. Today is day 29, the second longest shutdown ever, with no real end in sight. Now, there's a lot of ideas out there on how to fix what's broken, but I think we have the answer right here. Forget politicians. Forget think tanks. If you really want the government back up and running, all you need is my 3 co-hosts.
Oh, goodness.
These 3 legends could fix Washington before lunch and still have time for pizza and a podcast.
Or ribeye.
They would march right into Congress, beard blazing, Christmas tunes blasting, and organize the place like it was the NeoMag shop floor. Efficient, precise, but probably smelling like pepperoni. Michael would handle communications, equipped with a camera, a can of Red Bull, and that little mini Honda truck that he's driving right now. Creating viral content that unites the nation faster than any press conference ever could. And then there's Tiberius, cloaked in chainmail, swinging a Columbus sword from the faraway miniature state of Rhode Island. The smooth-talking salesman would be convincing every side to agree. Together, they're not just hosts. They're the patriotic powerhouse America didn't know it needed. If anyone can end the gridlock, it's these three with me today.
America.
America.
All right, you guys.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So the Honda maintenance light kicked on this
Oh,
morning.
no. Hold on.
Hold on.
And go.
Life isn't just the big moments, it's the everyday joys worth protecting. Family, friends, and community. Let's talk about what makes life rich.
Yeah.
And continue.
Yeah, they should have known better than to give you another vehicle because
This is yeah. So
everything you drive.
I sent 2 texts and I've got no response from either party. So it kicked on. It gave me the code. I threw it online, and it's like tire change, rear differential fluid, and an oil change. So thankfully, it wasn't anything like a Christmas tree light, and then the Honda blows up. I don't know,
Dude,
but we're gonna go to the dealership today and be like, hey.
you need a longboard. Just get a longboard.
Well, my one wheel, the battery starts to die on it, so because it's so old. So,
Is this a Honda Ridgeline you have?
oh yeah. So the coolest thing about this, if you don't know what a Honda Ridgeline is, it's like a Beetle Bug made love to a little mini truck, and they had a mini vehicle. That's what this thing is. The coolest thing about it though is the rear back. It folds down the tailgate, right? Or it folds outward. And then there's like a compartment that you can lock and put. Everybody's just told me put
Guns.
ice. Yeah. Guns or ice and beer in it, which I'm not that much of a partier anymore. So it's cool. I'm just not going to have a tailgate party with that one.
One of my buddies has the older Ridgeline because you have the, I don't know what yours is, but yours is the new generation of Ridgeline. But the one thing the Ridgeline has always had is that rear trunk compartment in the
It's
bed,
neat, isn't it?
which is actually really cool. With it's semi-weather sealed, so it like keeps stuff dry. If you want to put your bags and that kind of stuff in it, it'll keep it dry from the elements and everything while you still actually have a truck bed. Or if you're so inclined, you can throw ice and that kind of stuff in it and turn it into a mini cooler or whatever you want to do. But that is the one thing that the Honda Ridgeline has always had that has been neat. It's not really a truck though.
It's not a truck. It like I got on the interstate and the speed limit says 70 and you're just trying to accelerate on the ramp. And it's just like, okay, I'm sorry, everybody. It's going to take me 5 minutes to get up to speed.
It's
Bear
a little
with
bit
me.
bigger than an El Camino.
Like an El Dorado, like a little.
But an El
small
Camino
block.
probably, I think the old El Caminos had a V8 in it.
They had a lot
but an old
more
V8
power.
still did not have a whole lot of power. They sounded cool, but
Yeah, this one is it's
It had more
slowly
power than
moving.
the Ridgeline.
yeah,
What's that little tiny Ford pickup truck?
A Ford
Oh,
Ranger.
Santa Cruz or something like
No,
that.
the smaller than the Ranger.
Yeah, I think it's a Santa Cruz.
No, isn't the Hyundai the Santa Cruz?
Yeah, it's one of each of them have the.
Anyway, yeah, that little
It's a
tiny
little
Ford is what it reminds me of.
Well, I was curious. Okay, so Michael, I just see here
Maverick. The Maverick.
Maverick.
on our show notes here it says under Michael says I like to bite my own toenails after a long run.
Yeah, so
That sounds gross.
I get reminded to put in the show notes for the email that I'm sending out to you guys what I'm going to talk about, and I didn't fill it in. So apparently, after long, majestic runs in this cold weather, I chew on the remaining toenails that are left.
Ugh.
Disturbing.
Why did you put that in there, Greg? That's disgusting.
That's not what I had.
Because he never fills anything in, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to put something in there.
It's intermediate fasting because there's people that are going to go without food. So we're going to come in and fix this, right? And toenails are
Ugh.
protein.
No, I don't agree to any of that. I am not skipping any meals.
Hey, Tib, what's going on
Yeah,
with you,
anyway,
buddy?
Tib, how's it going?
Lots of good stuff. I actually have a question for you guys, but this weekend I did the Habitat for Humanity thing that I told you guys about last week.
Yeah.
It was really cool. We weren't building the house. We actually built 3 handicap ramps for folks. One was a member of our church. The other 2 were just for people in the next town over. And I got to give it to all the other Knights. They knocked it out. We built the 3 ramps pretty much from scratch. And then they gave us other things to do because we knocked them out so quick. They're like, we need some tables built. Do you guys mind helping us with that? Because we knocked everything out. So
Nice, dude.
they'll be installed next week. And that was pretty cool. Tomorrow, my daughter has a concert. I'm actually, like we've joked about it before, I'm actually excited for this one. It's a concert with the high school band and a professional local band as well. And they're doing some really interesting music, and I'm actually looking forward to it because the local band is like a semi-professional band. They're pretty good.
Nice.
And then the question I have for you three and anyone else listening, if you want to comment, is about Halloween. My son, all right, we're stricter than most of my son's friends, and my son wants to go out just with his friends. And I've always walked around with my son and his friends and whomever else. Now, for the past couple of years, his friends have gone out, just the friends, no adults. And that's what he wants to do. And part of me doesn't want to be the overbearing parent, but part of me is like, he's 12, almost 13, you know? So at what point are you guys okay with your kids doing that on their own? I know a lot of it is maturity, not just age, but what are your thoughts?
So I've got kids in that same age range. I'm fine with it, you know, given some parameters, like who are you going to be with? Do I know who you're going to be with? I need to know where you're going to be, like what neighborhood you're going to be at. Don't leave that neighborhood. You know, like there's some parameters I want to have set. You know, the other nice thing is, these days, my kids have a phone. I can track them wherever they go. It's kind of nice. So it just, I've got a lot of good memories growing up, and I realize the world's very different from what it was when I was a kid. But I have a lot of good memories of.
Well, when you were a kid, it was
going trick or treating with my friends and stuff.
1970.
Like that. No, it wasn't. Could have been in the 90s. Man, I miss the 90s.
1975.
So, but with that in mind, I keep, there are parameters that I would set. You know, these are the people you're going to be with. This is where you're going to be. If anything changes, you need to give me a call. Yeah, that's kind of how largely how I would tackle it.
Listen, I think it was about Carter's age that my parents started giving me a little bit of extra freedom. Now, I think the caveat, similar to what you said, Greg, would have been they would have given me a geographical area. Like, you're not going to leave this set of a neighborhood. Like, you have these 5 streets, this square mile, whatever it is. This is where you guys can go. You and your friends. Now, in my case, they didn't have a phone to track me or anything like that. But this is where I expect you to be. I expect you to be back home at this time. We know you're going to be with these people. So be with those people, be back at this time. Don't stray outside of that area. I can particularly remember, I think most of my freedom was around I can remember the first time that my parents let me run loose was at our county fairs and everything, where there's 1,000 people, around, but my parents were also there somewhere. Right. And it was kind of you're going to meet us at this time. You're obviously not going to leave the fairgrounds, be with these people, meet us at these places. And so it was just an expectation of this is your net. Stay in your net and you're going to be fine. And that's okay. If you go outside of that net, one, it's quote unquote dangerous, not necessarily for sure dangerous, but that's where you're going to meet potential danger. And also punishment if you do stray outside of, such and such an area. But it was about his age, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say it's somewhere between 12 and 14 would be about the time that my kids are young, so I'm not quite there yet. My son just turned 7. My daughter turns 5 at the end of the year. So I'm not there yet to let my kids go on a excursion. But I would say it'd be between Carter's age and, junior high, 7th, 8th grade, that it's like, okay, you can start doing things on your own to a certain extent, let them go and fly a little bit. I don't know.
Well,
with parameters.
From my standpoint, being that I don't have any kids, Tibbs, I have a great solution for you. One, back in the day, I'd have to address, in the 70s, probably when you're the 90s, when we were kids going out, it was fun for Halloween. Our parents, there was a lot more leniency because everybody knew the neighbors were friendly. It wasn't so everybody for themselves. And I was an M&M with my sister. So she's 5 years older than me. So about that age, I was probably running around the neighborhood with my sister, love the parameters, but if you really want a solution, charge a 50% candy tax when he gets home to go out by himself, right? It's Halloween, dress up as a ninja. You got air tags and apple trackers on the phone.
Just follow him.
Just follow them because they will never know it. See, I'm Uncle Mikey, so I have 10 nephews and nieces, no kids, but you got to make it fun. And when you get that many kids together at once, you charge a little tax. So like, hey, you want to go, I'm not condoning the whole bowl into the bag, but you want to,
I will be stealing all the Reese's peanut butter cups, no doubt.
Upfront tax. So
yeah, there's always a dad tax, always.
Yeah. No, I think safety is the number one importance. And nowadays, for years, in my entire life growing up, we've been told, watch out for needles in your candy and everything else.
Razor blades.
Never seen that, right? But I know evil knows no face, no place, and no time. But going out, being safe, having your kid and your son, he's smart, he's disciplined, and he follows in a good footstep. I think he's going to be absolutely fine to go out with his friends. You can track them nowadays on their phone. Let them be in a safe parameters that where they're going to be. Charge them for the candy. Like, you got to get your sweet tooth in too. Since we can't knock doors anymore, it's not normal for us to dress up and go knock doors with a big candy bag. Because if it is, I've still got a couple days left. But
no, so this neighborhood, what they do is the adults stand at the end of the road, bowls of candy for the kids, cooler of beers or shots for the adults. So you walk around.
So it's turned into like a neighborhood party, and that's why I actually feel. I actually feel like it's less, not scary, because not like it was scary when I was a kid either. Just less intimidating now. Like, you really don't even have to go up to people's doors anymore. Like,
I could see them in the yards. Like,
I mean, like, everybody's kind of at the end of the driveway, and it's not 100% of people, but a lot of people, like, they have a little fire pit down the end of the road, and they've got.
They have 3 or 4 couples.
And they're making hot dogs. Like, they have hot dogs for the adults, and there's one house we go to. They had Jello shots. I like that house. But it's kind of turned into like a neighborhood party. So I think it's fun.
I mean, it depends on your neighborhood.
It does. It depends on your neighborhood. And like you were saying, Tib, it depends on the maturity of the kids that they're going to be with.
Appreciate the input.
It's a tax. I mean, the government shutdown. You gotta collect.
Always a dad tax.
Yeah. See, Pangolin here said that they chose not to partake in Halloween anymore starting this year. So his kids didn't really complain about that, and I've seen that too. And there's but everybody's got to figure out their own their own restraints and constraints.
I mean, Tib and I talked about that. Tib, what was that, a week ago? I don't remember.
A couple days ago.
Like that, we talked about that. I didn't grow up doing Halloween.
Whoa.
Or Alien.
Yeah,
No, it's literally labeled scary.
Ooh.
Oh, it sounds more like Alien.
It wasn't scary back then or now.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't do the Halloween thing for a variety of reasons, and I think I told Tib I can count on my one hand how many times I went trick-or-treating as a little kid, and I never really missed it. Wasn't a big deal. But I mean, I take my kids, they participate to a certain extent. We did it at a campground this year, and they'll do trunk or treat. The trick-or-treating for Wadsworth was actually last weekend. It was Saturday last weekend, and we were busy, so they didn't actually get to participate for Wadsworth. And Halloween being on Friday this week, we're not gonna be able to do it for stuff we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's up to you, really.
And we've our kids have never done like the gory stuff or anything like that. They're always like, my daughter was a cowgirl and Liam was I don't know. Like, they've always kind of been.
Yeah, I was a soldier one year. It was so easy.
So my son, the one year, was an excavator.
Yeah.
He literally dressed up as an excavator. He was so excited about it. So.
My favorite ones are the costumes that they made clearly, and they do a good job on it. I think it's cool. I remember last year there was a kid he was a big Lego piece. I was like, that's awesome.
Nice.
Actually, my favorite was Tib's son going as Garfield. The video of him as the blow up Garfield and trying to walk down steps because he couldn't see him. Is the greatest thing.
I was from the movie It, the little boy with the yellow rain jacket.
Oh, that's
and
terrifying.
The red balloon. Oh, it was great because all I had to do was buy a jacket
and
then
red
get
balloons.
a little red balloon, and I got one of those that wasn't inflatable, but it was just like it stayed up on a stick. That's perfect. All I had to do was turn around. I didn't have to look at anybody the whole night.
Yeah. So I mentioned last week I was on another podcast called The Gun Experience. So I did that last Wednesday evening, and they told me that that'll be out the week of Thanksgiving. So just keep an eye out for that episode
end of the
if
month.
you want to kind of hear. I get to kind of talk about just the beginning of the company, how the idea came about, and kind of where it's gone, and experiences throughout that. Kind of little and some personal stories and that sort of thing. So it was fun. The guys did a great job. They've been doing this podcast for like 5 years, so they're really good at what they do. So keep an eye out for that. This last weekend we went to our cottage in Pennsylvania. It was the last time for the year. Unfortunately, like the last time of the year is always just the best time to go. It's nice and cool. I've mentioned this before. I love sitting by a fire during the day. I sat by a fire all day long. I read a book, scrolled my phone, threw a bumper for Rigby, hung out with the family, listened to music. It was great. It's always sad to see the end of the season come, but it was a good time. And then the last thing, I'm just really excited. I've got a bunch of new products that I'm working on right now. And I'm just, it's really what I have the most passion for. There's a lot of things I have to do to run a business and everything like that. But the one thing that I enjoy the most is making new things, drawing things up and modeling things and figuring out production stuff. There's a lot to it. Actually, I might do a whole episode sometime just on what goes into creating a product, all the things you have to think about, all the things that have to go on in order to go from conception to to selling a product on a large run. I think it'd be kind of a fun.
All the things we forget every time. Yeah. Every single time.
What are you talking about? No, we're good.
Everyone.
We got it.
Yep. So yeah, that's what's going on with me.
We don't forget that. We're going to save the government. What are you talking about?
Yes, Tib, I'm always looking at you. Tib is texting me. He can talk to me, everybody, but he's texting me from Rhode Island. Anyway.
How about you, Nate?
Oh, we're skipping Michael. We're going straight to me.
Well, here he told us about his truck. Is there anything else to talk about your truck?
Oh yeah, the truck wasn't really the fun story part.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to go
your
and
toenails.
tell the whole world about my toenails and the one missing toe. That's
Gross.
kind of scary. No, so I got to shoot another match with Monsoon Tactical, the owner, Vinny. Got to shoot with him this weekend. Had a blast. Chat GPT was not mathing for us, so Chat was telling me that you need 12 seconds and you can get GM run. I'm like, I guess a Red Bull and a half deep. So my brain's like, yeah, we got it. We're doing it. Woohoo! Shot all alphas on the course, but it took me like 7 seconds. But yeah, no, Chat wasn't mathing right. So the whole day was like chasing masterclass, which I ended up bumping up in my overall percentage, but I'm still not where I wanted to be. I was super excited. I was texting you guys like, I made it. And like on the spot with Vinny, I'm like, I made it. We're here. And the numbers didn't add up until I got home. So either way, I've got to shoot a lot of matches this year. I got to shoot 3 majors and finish out the year, increasing my overall percentage, rolling into next year. I'm super confident that I'll achieve that. Outside of that, with my small business, it's been super busy. It's been, I get off work here and I'm out doing cool photos and shooting and doing some cool content, which has been a super awesome blessing as well. Because as you know, being 10 years in business, I'm rolling into my 5th year as a small one-man army. And it costs money to make money, to build things, to create things, to add things to the website and so forth. So that's been really cool. And then this weekend I am packing up and heading out. Well, Thursday I have micro needling. So if you guys have ever done micro needling, please let me know how it feels.
My wife does
everything that I can for my health right now. I got an amino shot in the butt yesterday. So trying to stay healthy and fix these minor back injuries. But this weekend I'm going to North Carolina to see the girlfriend. Her son's 16th birthday is this weekend. So we're going to go hang out with them and spend a weekend in North Carolina. So I'm super excited. There's a range that we're going to host some events and classes at next year that I'm going to go check out for the first time and see the facility. So it's kind of like an all-inclusive trip where we get to hang out, spend time together, celebrate the life of her son and his birthday, and then go to the range and shoot some more things.
Nice. Cool. That'll be fun.
If I don't breakdown.
So if you can get there,
Let's say if Honda doesn't break down between
Yes.
then and
Yeah.
you'd be the only one to break down a Honda.
Yeah, this
Usually
podcast
pretty,
is not sponsored by Honda.
Yeah.
Not knocking Honda though, because
Honda's
they've been great.
You literally have the worst luck with
the,
vehicles, bro.
The truck blew up the engine, so that one's done, and we were just waiting on the warranty. But Chevy's got it, so Honda's been great to me. I am a truck person. I'm a Chevy person at heart, and this little Ridgeline it's tiny.
It's funny.
What's going on with you, Nate?
So we've got our final camping trip of the year this weekend. So we will have a fire going all weekend. The high is 50.
Nice.
The low is 35. So
Sure.
it'll be chilly, but it'll be fun. So we'll leave Friday after work, late afternoon, come back Sunday. So we'll have the time change to deal with the kids and all of that stuff. But that's kind of the way it always works every year. We do the time change weekend. I think last year,
That is this weekend.
I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It actually snowed just a little bit on us the one night. We, much to other people's chagrin, we did play Christmas music while it was snowing. So it was fun. But we'll go out, we'll camp for the last time of the year this weekend, and then sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll button up the camper for the year, winterize it, and put that away, which is always kind of sad, but it's also, it's good to get it all buttoned up and put away. We'll pull everything out of it so that mice have nothing to chew on, because I haven't had any, knocking on wood, get into it yet. I try and seal up all of the external holes that they may or may not try and climb into to discourage them from trying to get into it. But I also try to remove everything inside of it that if they were to get in, that they would chew on. So all the cushions come out, all the curtains come out, all that kind of stuff. So there's nothing attractive for them to get in and make nests with. So we'll get that all winterized in the next couple of weeks and put that away for the year. And then really, it's just the busyness of the last quarter of the year. I was looking at the calendar, working on stuff for volunteering at church and getting schedules and everything. And I don't have a free Saturday all of November. I literally have something every Saturday from now through all of the rest of November and most of December. Just that's the way the cookie crumbles for the rest of the year. We've got some, and all of it's good. None of it's bad. It's all fun stuff. So there's a couple trips in there. There's hunting season in there. We've got some hockey, some Monsters hockey games in there, which we always love that. We've got a couple. I think we have a cocktail class. My wife got a cocktail class for her birthday this last weekend. A friend bought us that, so that'll be a fun thing. And so all good stuff, but it's just busy.
Yeah.
Christmas parties.
It's basically that through the rest of the year.
Well, it really is. That's what I'm saying. I mean, when I put my schedule in for our safety at our church, so I typically attend church on Saturday nights. I will not attend a single Saturday in November. I'll serve a couple Sundays, so I'll attend a couple Sundays, but I will not be at a single Saturday night service in the entirety of November. I think I get to hit one or two in December, not counting the Christmas Eve stuff. I hit one or two in December, and then we finish out the year. So we're only 8 weeks out from the end of 2025. So we're almost done.
It's crazy.
And
Yeah, it is.
yeah, so it's the busyness to the end of the year. So
To be honest, I can't wait for this year to be over.
yeah, we all could all use this year to be over. But yeah, so we're pushing through. A lot going on, a lot of business. Like I said, a lot of travel between hunting trips and, I mean, again, fun stuff, but it's just a lot. There's a lot between now and the end of the year. My wife finishes her master's degree this week. This is her last week of her master's degree, so she finished that. She
Awesome.
submitted
Congrats.
her stuff this weekend, and
We need an applause, Greg. Yellow.
woohoo!
There it is.
Yeah, so she finished her master's degree, which it'll be good to finish that up as we go into the busiest season of the year. So she gets to finish that, and then insanity starts from that perspective. But it'll be good. So that's really what's going on with me, is just get to camp this weekend, leading right into the craziness of the end of the year. So
And cocktails are going to be made at the office, right? While we're working on the crazy
sure,
day
why not?
after you guys take this class.
Why not? Yeah, I can't remember what we're making. Our friend, we're going with the couple that bought it for us. We're going to go with them. It's a seasonal class at a fairly local distillery. So there's 3 different options, or they'll teach us to make 3 different cocktails. walk you through it, and at the end you get to choose to make one of them on your own. And it's seasonal based, and I think it's like bourbon, gin, and then I think tequila are the 3 different liquors that you will make the cocktails out of. And then at the end of it, they say, okay, which one do you want to make? And you choose which one you want to make on your own. So it should be fun.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's head into Liberty.
Liberty isn't about what we can get away with. It's about how we use our freedom to serve. Let's explore what that looks like today.
So this is we were talking. We're trying to figure out this morning what we want to talk about, and then I had an idea for this topic. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to do it. I'm still trying to kind of figure out the lane for this, for our podcast and everything. I really like just general conversation. If you're with us live, I would love to hear you guys' feedback. Do you guys like us to kind of stay in the lane of like gun industry stuff, or do you like more general, conversation, stuff like that? That said, this is going on right now, and I felt like it's something worth, and it applies to the Liberty segment. So, I mentioned earlier before I introduced my team about how there's a shutdown, second longest government shutdown that's ever happened, and with that, there are some things that there's some side effects of that happening. Now, the funny thing is, a lot of government employees still get paid. However, the people that they serve, i.e., the citizens who they have, who the government has said that they will support, once that money runs out, there's kind of tough. You're on your own. So, basically, what I'm talking about is the SNAP. Which is what funds and gives an allowance for groceries for a segment of the U.S. population to go and buy groceries with. Now, we don't really need to get into the politics of should or shouldn't it, and who should get it and who shouldn't, stuff like that. That's not really the lane I want to go down in this conversation. I really just kind of want to talk about there are 42 million people who basically any day now, sounds like some states that may already have run out. Some states are saying in the next couple of days that those funds will run out. It's $8 billion, I think is a stat that I saw per month.
It's a lot.
That's what it pays out. I think I have it in here. It's like 130. Where do I have it? $133 or something like that per person, roughly. I have somewhere in my notes here.
Like 133 a month?
A month per person, I believe is what it is. So times 42 million people.
It's a few people.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. And I was on my phone last night, and I was scrolling through some reels, and I was coming across people who this is affecting. And I think it's easy. It's really easy for those of us who go home every day to full fridges and pantries to kind of cast judgment on this and stuff. It's like, and are there people that take advantage of it? Absolutely. Are there plenty of people who legit need it? Sure, absolutely. And so, again, that's why I don't really want to necessarily go down the lane of should this exist and who needs it and who doesn't need it. But this is running out, and there are people that pretty soon here are not going to have those funds coming in. And so I thought I also thought it was timely because just 2 weeks ago we were talking about the verse. I think Tib brought the verse in Matthew 25 where Jesus, I can go back to the show notes from that. Jesus says,
What, you don't have it memorized?
For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. And then he goes on to say, for those who didn't do that, you didn't do that for me. And well, he was saying that you actually didn't not do it for me. You didn't do it for the least of these. And so we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. We talked about serving others and everything like that. So I just thought that this, is on the nose to what we were just talking about. So I've got a bunch of notes and stats here, but the one thing that I came across, and I thought this was really cool. They're calling it Grocery Buddy. So how it works is neighbors post on social media and community groups or public forums about their willingness to be a grocery buddy and help a family at risk of losing SNAP benefits. The poster asks those interested to send them a private message, and together they find a grocery solution that makes sense for both parties. Assistance may look different for each pairing. In some cases, grocery buddies do the shopping, while in others, they accompany one another to the supermarket, shop together. Some grocery buddies provide their counterparts gift cards, giving them agency to control in a time of uncertainty. So this is kind of convicting to me, and just what we're talking about. What's your guys' just thoughts on this? Yeah.
I mean, I read that beforehand. I actually thought that was a pretty clever thought, regardless of how you do it, but just putting yourself in a position in which you're open to helping people, whether you're using that term grocery buddies and how you do that. I like the fact that they kind of left it open-ended, which is take them shopping, don't take them shopping, just give them a gift card, just kind of leaving it open-ended. I'll shop for you. Just give me a list and I'll bring it to your house, be your personal shopper, however you want to approach it. But regardless, it's one of those, especially if you know somebody that is in that circumstance in your life, or, neighbor or something like that, just offer the help. Yeah. Offer the resource, be present, be available. Because the other thing that I think, especially for the folks that definitely need it, that they're struggling to pay their bills, there is a sense of pride, I think, that they're not going to ask for the help. Or I would imagine, I can't imagine that it would feel good to have to say, I can't afford to feed my family, or I can't afford, even myself, just even if it's a single person, I can't afford to feed myself. I've been using this benefit. Now I'm scared, because it would be scary. You don't know where your next meal is going to be coming from. I'm scared. I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. So I think there'd be a sense of, there's a sense of uncertainty, but I think there's also some pride behind, I don't want to ask for help. Because I think that's hard. As a man, I wouldn't want to ask for help. This is something I should be able to do by myself. But who knows what life circumstances put you in a position in which you can't do that.
Yeah.
Just be open to helping.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be. It's not like we have to give half of our earnings to, somebody. Just find somebody.
Yeah.
And even if it's a week's worth of groceries, even if you can, spare $100 or something like that, is going to go a long way for somebody who.
Well, the other thing you can do is, I know, at least for our church, we have multiple food pantries that we provide things to and that kind of stuff. And find those resources. Ask your local churches. If you aren't a part of a church or not a part of a local organization, go to some of those charitable organizations and say, I want to help. Where can I go to either serve? Where can I go to make donations? Because those places are going to get flooded with people, or I would imagine would get flooded with people. So if you're either uncomfortable being, in person, which is okay. Mm-hmm. If you are uncomfortable doing that in person, then there's different avenues. Whether you're in person at a food pantry handing food out to people, or you're literally just bringing food. I am going to go shop, buy a bunch of non-perishables that I'm going to bring to a food pantry and provide for them so that they can give it out to other people. Or provide your time. Go to the food pantry again, even if you're not hanging out or handing it out. You're helping just to organize, because they're going to have donations come in and they need to organize and put that stuff away. Yeah. All those food pantries need that help as well.
Yeah, and these food pantries are going to be getting hit much harder in this next month if this doesn't get. I'm really hoping that the 11th hour here, that they get this figured out. But as of right now, it's not looking like it.
You know, it's a hard topic because you want to stay as neutral as possible without getting political. But in this regards, I'm going to try to word this where it doesn't go into the politics side of the house. I hope there's not a lot of divide created from this. And I hope there's not a lot of stress from families that maybe are on SNAP or supplemental income or anything of that regard. I hope there's no panic, because when there's
there's panic.
Right. But when it becomes of mass scale, for example, 42 million, then you see a different approach, because when there's lack of food, lack of water, right? People will do whatever they need to survive. We are humans by nature, but we are also going to preserve our rights and our ability. And I don't want it to get to that point. So with that being said, I'm seeing a lot of companies and a lot of individuals posting on social media platforms and saying, hey, in lieu of what's going on, let us help. And if I can encourage those that may be struggling to, absolutely, like you guys have said, look for those resources. I think this is going to be a challenging time if the government shutdown continues and we see these benefits across many states be just essentially to a halt. But I do hope during this time that we as Americans do come together, and one, we don't look down upon somebody else struggling, because you're going to see the harshest of struggles. When you have somebody that's starving or somebody that needs something in a basic essential to survive, it's like protecting a child. You know, there's no space that you wouldn't go through or to make sure that you provide for that said person.
So I saw yesterday there was a Walmart that had to close early and asked everybody to leave because
of the looting,
because it was getting violent. It was getting crazy.
So,
I just think there's such an opportunity here for us to step into the divide here, step into the gap.
Yes, and that's where I hope we as people that are blessed and fortunate in this lifetime to have a pantry full of food, and that we can cover our groceries and expenses, that we don't look down upon others that are struggling, but instead we embrace that chaos and bring peace to it by saying, hey, no, I'm here, right? Sometimes the biggest voice is the softest one showing up that says, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, I've experienced struggles in life where I didn't know if I could afford the meal or I couldn't afford the next meal. And it was a lot of the ego and pride for men, because we were taught from an early age. And I think every father and every man has experienced this, that you handle it, you figure it out, you dust your knees off, you scrape off the blood, dry it off and keep going and make it work. So I hope for those that are struggling that they're not afraid to reach out, let the ego go. But I also hope that we that aren't struggling can be open to it and can understand the feeling that can be associated to it, because at one point or another we've all probably struggled in some form or fashion. I'm curious to see what's going to transpire. You know, I don't know if he's a billionaire or a millionaire, came out and he donated to the troops to pay for the troops. If you want to go to the political side just a little bit, maybe we shift some of those funds back into countryside instead of going outside to other countries and into this war and everything else. That would be my only heavy, let's shift some of the funds back to the people where we need to rebuild our country is from within, not from without coming in. So
what's your thoughts, Tib? You've been
intentionally quiet on this one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of very strong feelings and things that obviously we're not going to get into. I think the most frustrating part, not the most, but one of the more frustrating parts, is that Congress gets paid where the people who work for the government that they work for don't. That frustrates me, regardless what side of the political party you lean on. I don't care. If the government's shut down, they should not be getting paid. That's just not acceptable to me. But I agree with everyone else said, regardless of your feelings on SNAP and EBT, it's an opportunity for us to love folks who need love and help people who need help, especially this time of the year. You have the holidays coming up and people are already, lots of people who need help and are struggling. And it's an opportunity for us to spread a little love and, make Jesus proud and do what we're supposed to do and help the ones who need help. So that's where I try to keep my focus on and not anything politically.
Yeah, I know this is a political.
It is.
Sure.
It's a
Thanks.
political
Absolutely.
discussion,
but it also shouldn't be. Taking care of your neighbor and loving your neighbor is not a political thing. It shouldn't be. It's kind of where my conviction came is the I'm going to call it the sinful part of my mind went down this. It wanted to go down the route of well, people need to pick up their bootstraps and whatever, which is fine, but that also isn't helpful. Like, you have all these people who have been promised something, so we are going to help you. We've committed to giving this to you, and then for that to get taken away from them, that's not fair. And we are, again, just 2 weeks ago, we all just sat here and talked about the importance of feeding and taking care of people. It was convicting to me to just talk about that a couple weeks ago, and then not talk about this, and not bring up ways that we can get involved in this. Were you pulling something up for this?
No,
or?
no,
Okay.
you're good.
So I did want to kind of just bring up a couple things that I've already done. So I already reached out to my church, said, hey, I know our church has a food pantry. Said, are you guys thinking about what's going to look like? How are you guys on stocked on stuff right now, knowing that November is probably going to be busier anyway, just with the holidays
I was
coming
going to
up.
say,
It's already going to be crazy.
Yeah.
even if this season,
Cold weather too.
well, cold weather, even if this wasn't a shutdown, you're moving into
Thanksgiving and
into Thanksgiving, and when people, like, most food pantries will
Mhm.
actually put together like special meals for Thanksgiving, and they're looking for extra donations towards that, so they can build a Thanksgiving meal that they can give to their regulars, right? Like, things that they can make sure that they have a wonderful holiday. So they were already probably trying to build up some kind of inventory towards that anyways. If they're about to get hit with people that sounds bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, never said, yeah.
If they're about to lose a lot of inventory because of this, that's only going to make the end of the month and then the end of the year with Christmas, because it's going to follow up with the same thing for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's going to make that all that much more difficult for them.
Yeah. So just reach out to your local food pantries, your local churches if you're not a part of one, Kiwanis, Knights of Columbus, all these all these organizations who this is what they do. So even if you aren't comfortable with reaching out to somebody, which I actually think would be a great thing, to walk around the grocery store and just hear about the life of somebody that you are helping. What is their life like, and really get some perspective on their life, and I think it would go a long way for us to actually put a face and a story behind the people who need this. And again, this doesn't have to be like a monthly thing. I mean, hopefully this gets
Handled, and
this gets handled soon. But then again, I think it's also good for us just to realize that there are people in need no matter what. And so, how can we get involved with that? And then the other thing I asked my church is, I said, hey, if there's a family who this is going to affect, because, by the way, one of the stats is 1 in 8 people need this help. We all know more than 8 people. So there are 100% there are people in our circles who are going to need this. So I just told them, if it's anybody who you know of who needs the help, I would be happy to take them grocery shopping. So let me know. And then, and again, most all of us have social media. You're probably on it right now watching us. So if there's a way for you to reach out into your own community and just ask if there's anybody that needs help, I think it's a cool thing to do.
And I hate to say this part, because I know the spirit of helping others and giving, but if the government shutdown persists to last longer than anticipated, or we don't have that 11th hour win, I do encourage everybody to still be proactive and be safe, because when we see this in areas where there may be an influx in those that are using SNAP, and like you said, places shutting down for looting, as we want to have a good heart and be helpful to others, we should also still advocate being safe and situationally aware, because there's going to be there could potentially be, like we've seen in the past, looting and chaos and everything to ensue. So as you're helping others, still just be proactive and stay safe.
Yeah. When people are scared, they do scary things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
The right tools, the right skills at the right time. This is where we get equipped to live boldly and be ready for what comes next.
Awesome. So we have a few things that we wanted to let you guys know about today. One is this coming Friday, we are going to be releasing a very limited quantity of Memento Mori custom shops. This is always one of my favorites. I think just to think about it something that we don't want to think about. Think about our death, but it's going to happen. We're all terminal, so it's going to happen. And so just that reminder to enjoy life and think about how we can love others, and all the stuff we always talk about is all part of this Memento Mori thing to me. So anyway, we have large trays, mini trays, neomags, and tack traps coming with a really cool design. We partnered up with Blown Deadline to pull these off, and they always do a great job. We could show you. I wish I could show you right now. They're on their way here. We should have them tomorrow, so just keep an eye out for that. And then just a little teaser, our plan for November, letting you guys know, every week, every Friday, we're going to be launching a different Black Multicam product. We have some new things. We have
Hit
some...
the button, Mike.
No, I'm doing it.
There it is.
I found it.
We have some new versions of things you've seen before, and we have some potentially some new things coming in Black Multicam that you've not seen from us before. So, and then we will be doing some sort of promotion on like the week of Black Friday. So just kind of giving you guys a heads up there on what we have coming there. But I did ask Tib, our famous YouTube product reviewer.
I think our new he's a YouTube icon.
No, let's not go there. No.
It's better than famous YouTuber, Tib. Icon.
You're about to have a plaque. It's about to happen.
No, I'm not close.
Yeah, you're close.
So I asked Tib if he had a product that he'd want to do for our Equipped, and he did. So Tib, take it away.
So I wanted to talk about the Dry Fire mag. A couple weeks ago, we talked about dry fire, and I was very embarrassed to say that I never dry fire anymore because I find it terribly boring. And I felt, not going to lie, and I felt that in many ways I built bad habits. Like I caught myself at the range shooting and then going to rack the slide. I'm like, that's not how this works. Yeah. And then Michael even said it. He was shooting and he dropped a mag and caught the mag in midair because that's what he did, dry fire. So, good intentions done wrong can build bad habits. And I knew about this company, Dry Fire Mag, but I've never used one. I never reached out to them. And because of that conversation, I'm like, let me reach out and see what it's all about. So they have them for a bunch of different guns. They have Glocks, single stack, double stack. They have M&Ps, SIGs, Springfields, a whole bunch of guns. And it's simple, a magazine that you put in. And instead of completely resetting the trigger bar, if you can hear it, I'm sure you can. It's just resetting that little mechanism, a little spring right there is all that's resetting. So it allows you on a striker fired gun. I can't show anybody who's watching right now, but trust me, it works well. I have a review of this coming out tomorrow if you want more information. But you put the magazine in and it allows you to pull the trigger over and over and over and over without having to rack the slide on a striker fired gun. So it makes dry fire a lot more realistic. I think it makes it a lot more fun, and you can just keep on pulling that trigger over and over and over. So it's just, you can practice drawing from the holster. You can practice multiple shots. You can practice so many more things. And I've been using it quite a bit the past few weeks since I got it in. And it's simple. It's effective. It's made in the United States. It's sub $100. And so if you want to get better at dry firing and you want to get better at live fire, you can dry fire. And this definitely makes it a lot more enjoyable than pulling the trigger, racking the slide, pulling the trigger, racking the slide. That's awful.
Sounds like a slogan. You want to get better at live fire? You can
Use the dry fire.
Yeah.
I've not used one, but I've always wanted to get one. I would say the price point on them is I think is a thing that's kept me from it because it's pretty close to $100, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like $98.99.
Yeah, it's to me it's up there. And with that said, I think the value is there in the fact that you aren't creating these
Habits.
these bad habits, these scars. I see these guys doing, which there are things that I just don't do in dry fire because I don't want those habits. Like I don't reset my slide every time. Like I can still pull the trigger. I don't necessarily get the click, but I can still pull a trigger. So I don't do a slide reset every time. I see some of these guys they'll draw out and they'll shoot and they'll actually like lock the slide back as part of the routine. I'm like, that's it. It does.
Yeah.
That's not a routine I would want to. That's not something I would want to do in the heat of the moment with lock my slide back so I can. Yeah, I don't know. There's people do weird things in dry fire, so I do think. I think it's worth $100 to not make bad habits that could essentially cost you your life if you if you do the wrong thing.
I mean, it's caught my attention. This is the first time I've seen it, Chib, but I've got the Mantis, I've got the Next Level pistol, I've done the Ace Virtual, which is like a video game. I'm not knocking Ace Virtual. It is fun to game and shoot, but they're all different guns. As much as they want to get them to the specification to your caliber and everything else, I can pick up my gun and run my gun. I pick up an Ace gun and it's just different, right?
Yeah.
I pick up a Next Cert pistol. It's different. Having this go into my gun itself and being able to feel everything, the ergonomics, the grip, the pressure.
I was gonna say that's the thing that I like the idea of that is that you're using your own trigger.
Yeah.
That's the thing to me is like, okay, I'm practicing with my trigger. When I come out of my draw with my trigger, it's going to reset it. I get to get all of those feels as well as not breaking any or making any bad habits. I think that's the win there for sure.
Yeah, when I come out in 44 days, I will try to bring it with me for you guys so you guys can play with it.
For a tattoo date.
44 days. I like that you have it. Do you have like a countdown sitting on your computer right now?
He's counting down days.
No, when you were talking about something else, I forgot what a few minutes ago. I looked up how many days it was until I came.
He wasn't paying attention to what we were saying. He was just
no. You were, I wanted to mention it a minute ago, and I forgot what it was. Irrelevant.
Well, that's funny.
So here's a how does it work if you try to do a reload with that? Like, would you?
So yeah, reloads won't work great. So when you put the magazine in and take the magazine out, it does require a little bit extra effort. So it's not going to drop freely. What you could do is you could put your factory mag in the gun, pull the trigger, drop the mag, put this in, but you're not dropping the slide. So it's not going to be ideal. You're still going to be skipping or messing with the step. So I think the only thing, and this is exactly what I said in my review that's dropping tomorrow, the only thing you can't really do realistically is magazine exchanges, which is a shame for Neomag. But
that plug.
Yeah.
Well, and again, like even if you could at $100 per mag, that would be to spend $200 so you could
drop it on a
reloads
mattress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drop it. But I mean, honestly, there's so many different ways that you can break down or break apart your training segments in dry fire. So like reloads can be one segment.
Yeah, exactly.
Trigger
You
work
just
can
break
be
it down.
another, transitions.
Yeah.
And then, you can go say, okay, now I'm going to work trigger work. And
Sure.
I still think this is a great potential aid. So Tib, I'm curious to see your video tomorrow and see what you think about it.
Can you use it in conjunction with a laser round?
Yeah, so they actually have a smart version of this called I think it's called the Smart Dry Fire Mag. The price gets up there. You're up there to like $300 or so, but it has a mechanism on the dry fire mag that sends a signal to the laser that you put in the barrel, and then you could shoot a laser to one of those target aiming systems. Mantis has something really cool coming out next month. And that's all I could say.
The best training tool I've found is called Cool Fire. I only had one for my Glock, my Gen 3 Glock, which I haven't used in a long time, but it was pretty cool. Like it is a cartridge, so you completely change out the spring in the barrel. in your gun, and it uses CO2. And the cool thing is it actually
recoil
you actually have recoil. The slide actually moves and resets your trigger, and it's about as realistic, I think, as you can get. And then you can also use it in conjunction with with the laser round. So now again, I think I haven't looked at prices on those in a long time. You're probably
up there.
You're probably at $300.
I was going to say, I would imagine that's pretty pricey though.
At least in a couple $100 range. So it's pretty similar. So, but the nice thing with that was, is like it was actually you actually had
feel
recoil.
something.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Now
you can just get sim.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you could get sims and start shooting at your friends. That's even better.
There you go. Yeah,
I like that. Let's do that one. Tib, can you come here and let me shoot sims at you?
I still have scars.
Sure.
Cool. When you have both the trigger squeeze and the recoil impulse, when a company does that, where it's not compressed air every 10 shots or something like that, when that innovation comes into, that's going to change the game for like actual home dry fire and training. Because that's the biggest thing is, and I like this aspect for this dry mag is, or dry fire mag, is you can pull the trigger, but the only takeaway that I don't have from dry fire is recoil impulse, is the cycling of the slide.
Cool.
Nice.
Very good. Thanks, Tib.
Should we give him an applause for the YouTube icon? Coming out tomorrow. Tib's review.
Wow.
I'm gonna go cry in the corner now. See you guys later.
Wow. All right, let's hit the last segment.
Faith anchors us, fuel drives us. Let's open God's word and find the wisdom we need to live it out every day.
Awesome. Well, Nate's got our segment for today.
Yeah, so I've been meeting with a buddy of mine on Tuesday nights, and we were reading a couple things. And a couple scriptures came up while we were doing it, and I thought they were interesting. And it is funny because where I'm taking this is not how we discussed it, but I did find them interesting. So the two scriptures that I pulled out, first is 1 John 3:2. Beloved, we are God's children now, and what we will be has not yet appeared. But we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, because we shall see him as he is. And then 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see him in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. So while we're here, meaning here on earth, we have been given a promise. If we have accepted Christ as our Savior, we are children of God. We've been accepted into his family, and in turn, he has changed us with the gift of the Holy Spirit, the changing of our hearts, and a new path to walk down. What's amazing is that we are promised that change is not complete. This world is only a dim mirror to the way of life can be / will be. We will have the opportunity to be made fully new once Christ returns. We are actually destined for glory, which is an insane promise, right? The glory, the fullness and glory of God, of Christ. As we're going through life struggles, day-to-day issues, yearly struggles and problems, we're talking about how we're looking forward to 2025 being over. If we're thinking about it from a lens of what is promised to us, we're promised God's glory. We're promised this fantastic change. Shouldn't that give us a sense of comfort that we're promised such wonderful things? And there's another scripture. Sorry, let me pull it out. It's John 17. So Jesus is praying through John 17. He's praying for himself, his disciples, and for all believers. And he says in John 17, 21, he's praying specifically for all believers at this point. And he says, my prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. A pastor, while I was at Man Camp, used this scripture, and he made the example that if you were to close your eyes, imagine God looking at Christ, and then you're standing behind Christ, and he steps out of the way, God's view doesn't change. Right? That you are in full glory, standing in front of God, And his love for his son has not changed, even though his son has stepped out of the way. That is the promise that we have. That if we've accepted Christ as our Savior, we've been accepted into the family, and we are in the fullness of that glory, that upon Christ stepping out of the way, God's love and his oneness with his son does not change when he steps out of that way. And that is the promise that we have. We've been gifted his word as our way of communion with God in prayer and understanding our path. This isn't our perfect, like, this isn't the end, right? This is our way of understanding, but this isn't the end. This is our dim mirror. And upon his return, we get to see perfection. We were just discussing that last night. I just thought that was so good, right? We're sitting in this world. We just talked about how we're supposed to be approaching our neighbors, how we're supposed to be giving love, and how it's dark. It's still a dark world, and it's a dim, how 1 Corinthians says it. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we get to see face to face. Now we know in part, then we get to know fully. What a promise.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
That's good.
If you guys have thoughts, go for it.
Mic drop.
I think just I was talking about perspective, and it's so important to spend time every day in the Word and to keep that perspective. Yeah, as like you mentioned, this we can't wait for this year to be over, or whatever. And just like we're always kind of looking forward to the next day, the next week, the next year here. But how often do we take the time to look past this life? Because this life is just Paul talks about how it's just a mist. It's gone.
Yep.
And we get so wrapped up in all the things that we need to do here, and this checklist that we have to do in this life. But we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
And what are we doing to invest in our eternity instead of always being worried about investing in this life, in this next day, in this next year? It kind of goes to the next thought. So one of the things I don't remember if it's a book I've been doing in my quiet times every morning, or if it was in a sermon I heard recently, but he was just talking about how it's very clear, and Scripture says that we have an enemy that just wants to kill, eat, and destroy. Like if you were told that there is somebody coming for you who is going to destroy you, and you have time to prepare, would you not do everything you can to prepare for that?
Right.
Or would you just keep going about life like, oh,
too bad,
I'll deal with that when it comes, or
it's inevitable. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, no, we would prepare nonstop, knowing that they're on the way, or that they're here. And just what are we doing daily to prepare? Because you would not skip a day of training if you knew somebody was coming to kill and destroy you. So what are we doing to prepare ourselves daily? And being in the Word, being in prayer, keeping that perspective of this life is very short. We have a short time to prepare for eternity. It's good stuff, Nate.
We actually had Jimmy from Facebook, Jimmy Rowland. Jimmy, the scripture that I read, so the first one, John 3:2. The second one was 1 Corinthians 13:12. And then what I read, that last one I read was John 17:20 through 23. I think you were asking about John 3:2, but that's what I read today. Or, excuse me, 1 John 3:2, 1 Corinthians 13:12, and then John 17. So
good stuff. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the conversation today.
Yep.
Of course.
You guys ready to wrap her up?
Let's wrap it up.
Thanks for tuning into Life, Liberty, and Equipped. If today's conversation challenged you, encouraged you, or helped you get more equipped to pursue your mission, share it with a friend, drop a comment, and leave us a review.
Don't forget, we go live on the Neomag YouTube, Facebook, and occasionally Instagram. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be part of the next live show.
And if you're not already part of the Neomag Insiders Club, now's the time. Get early access to Neomag gear, exclusive content, and front row seats to everything we're building. Go to theneomag.com to sign up.
Until next time, live boldly, stand for liberty, and stay equipped. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our live stream today. If you are interested in listening to this again, you can go check us out on any of your favorite podcast streaming apps. We should be on there. If you are interested in supporting us, go to theneomag.com. Check out our stuff. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.